Industry Insider coming to you from Cherry Rock 2016. Joining me, the great man, James, the Hound Dog Young. How are you, mate?
I'm tremendous, thank you, Ben, and thank you for Industry Insider being here yet again at Cherry Rock, our 10th birthday. Too tough to die.
Absolutely, mate. It's so many memories. Where do you start? Have you been thinking about that in the lead up over 10 years?
I kind of have. You know what? In the nicest possible way, Ben, they all merge into one big, happy denim group hug. And it's hard to, I find it difficult to remember the various bands that have played, because in some instances, you know, we had 3 stages and 25 bands. So we must have had, over the 10 years, if you count Cherry Fest, we must have had, you know, 250 bands have played on Cherry Rock at Cherry Bar in ACDC Lane, and you know, I just get excited. You're speaking to me at the happiest time of the year for me. We've just started Cherry Rock, and it's just going to be fantastic, celebrating great international rock and roll, and of course, the best of Melbourne.
And you know, let's be honest, it's a testament to the bar and the brand, because there has been a few times where it didn't look too great, but you're all pulled through it together.
Well, I think it you know, it doesn't matter what business you're in. Every year there's going to be hurdles,
yeah.
And you know, we've faced some large ones with new residential developments, and that's a major issue in music. You know, established live music venues being closed by new residential developments, and it's quite difficult. I don't think the council would let us throw the party we're throwing today if it was our first one. Yeah. But luckily we've got the runs on the board, and once you've got 10 years behind you, they can't say no, and neither can the public, because even if you live in Brighton and walk big dogs, you'd have to agree that ACDC Lane is the right place for an annual rock and roll festival. Absolutely.
Now the lineup today, it's quite. There's a couple of return artists on the lineup, but there's also some new ones there. Some local artists that we haven't seen for a while. So, well, we've never seen on the lineup, as Dallas Frasco, of course.
Yep.
Then you've got Mutemath coming back for, it's got to be a record 4 or 5 now, isn't it?
They have been on a few times, but I like that band. Yeah, we've got quite a strong international contingent this year. We've got, you know, Cadaver from Germany, and Richie Ramone and the Super Suckers from America. And I'm very excited that we've got our first ever Indonesian band, the Sigit, who will be playing shortly. And you know, there's a band that headlines festivals in Southeast Asia to 40,000 people, and they were just hugely excited to come and play at Cherry Bar. And you know, they were voted Rolling Stone Asia's Act of the Year in 2013. And of course, you, me, and no one else knows who the Sigit from Indonesia are, and they sound like a psychedelic 70s band, a mix of early Wolfmother and, you know, Swedish bands like Graveyard. So that's very exciting to have the Indonesians, and you know, we've got Polish Club from Sydney, Gay Paris from Sydney, and up-and-coming Melbourne bands like Devil Electric, Mesakosa and Power. And I think it's a good mix. But one of the things I try to do, Ben, is we're lucky because people sort of have a certain degree of trust and faith in Cherry Rock and Cherry Bar. So that allows me to put on bands that I know people won't know, trusting them to put on a great show, and then giving a punter a real thrill, because they have that discovery value of a festival. And I've really looked after Polish Club, the 2-piece from Sydney, who I saw at Bigsound last year, blew me away. They've really been given a privileged spot to be on just before the internationals in ACDC Lane. And I put them there because I'm looking forward to leaving Cherry Rock with bruised shoulder blades from all the pats on the back from people saying, how about that Polish Club band I'd never heard of? And you know, that's one of the things that, the beauty of Cherry Rock, that we can afford to do that.
It's interesting you say Bigsound. I know I was at Bigsound for my second when you went for your first, and you just absolutely loved it. I've never seen you enjoy anything else except for Cherry Rock, of course, as much as going up there. Now, I spoke to Mesakosa before. They said you spotted them at Bigsound. How many acts on the lineup?
I haven't thought about that, but even bands like Drunk Mums, who I manage, I saw them for the first time at Bigsound. I really like Bigsound because it's in Brisbane, and you see a lot of people from the Sydney and Brisbane music scene. You don't, like, I know the Melbourne scene backwards, but up there you're seeing fresh faces, and you know, it's an ideal opportunity for bands from all over Australia to come and showcase their you know, their talents in a very easy format. You know, Wednesday, Thursday night across 16 venues, and that's just perfect for me. Doing 30-minute sets. You know, eventually, if you're a Melbourne band, I'll probably catch up with you, or you'll knock on my door because you want to come and play at Cherry. But all those other bands, you do have to make the effort to find them, and that's a fantastic way to find them.
Absolutely. Now, what's coming up Cherry Bar this year? Any other big announcements we can
Well,
talk about?
I suppose the area that I'm hoping to horizontally integrate Ben Pitcher is into Cherry Bar touring, because I think we can now, we've got, when you've got the home base, if you tour bands, you know, it takes a bit of the pressure off, because owning the bar as well, there's a good chance, like yesterday with the Super Suckers, you know, we're involved with touring that band, and if you getting it putting on a Saturday afternoon, a Saturday evening drink show, and their fans are heavy drinkers, you know, it's a good opportunity for the bar to do well, and it just makes me think, well, why don't we start doing more of this and bringing out bands at other times of the year? You know, just a quick Eastern Seaboard tour. You go, bang, you got Thursday night in Brisbane, Friday night in Sydney, and then you do Saturday, Sunday at Cherry. They're here for 4 nights. They play the major cities, and they're in and out. And you know, and Cherry Bar can afford to do that. And that is one focus, bit of a industry insider scoop there. That is a new focus for Cherry Bar after 16 years. Expand into Cherry Bar touring and bring the bands to us.
Well, that sounds amazing, mate. I'm looking forward to it. And I must say, thank you for over the last, God, however many years now. I think it's been 6 Cherry Rocks for me, allowing us to come in and create the content in all shapes and forms.
I think he's travelled further than anyone else. He's come from Dubai to Melbourne. Is it Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
Dhabi,
it's an hour apart. It's,
yeah, of course.
It's Melbourne, Geelong.
But you know, there's nothing to keep us apart. Ben and James Young, thank you for watching, and see you at Cherry Rock next year.
Thanks, James.